All right,
All
I
right.
have
Yep.
9:25.
Yep. All right. So Jamie, if you just want to launch right into it, feel free.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jamie Eberl, the MS4 Section Chief at DP Central Office. As a brief overview, the 2018 MS4 permit requires permittees to develop PRPs for stormwater discharges of nutrients and sediment to surface waters in the Chesapeake Bay watershed and for stormwater discharges to local surface waters impaired for nutrients and/or sediment. To develop a PRP, permittees must calculate the existing pollutant loads from the regulated planning areas and develop strategies to achieve the permit required pollutant load reductions, the 10% sediment, 5% phosphorus, and 3% nitrogen. DEP strongly supports joint or collaborative efforts for BMP projects and to satisfy MS4 permit obligations. While permittees are not required to work together, collaborative efforts can assist permittees in achieving compliance with permit obligations and often results in cost savings. Our presenters today, we have Jeff and Samantha with the Wyoming Valley Sanitary Authority, WVSA. WVSA is administering a regional stormwater program to address MS4 regulations for 31 municipalities in Luzerne County. The regional collaboration started in 2017 and is in year 2 of their 5-year permit cycle. Jeff and Samantha will be discussing the benefits of regionalization and several of their PRP projects. And just as a reminder, presentations from the previous forums are available on the training page. So if you really like what Jeff and Samantha have to say and you're interested in hearing from more municipalities on how they implemented their PRPs, I encourage you to check out those recorded presentations. And with that, I will kick it back to Rachel.
Oh no, that's okay.
Rachel, are we missing audio?
She said there's no audio for this video. So
Okay, gotcha.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Colella. I am the head of the Wyoming Valley Sanitary Authority Stormwater Division. Can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure. Getting a couple of things. Yes, there was no sound for the video, so we're gonna go. We're gonna do a little. We're gonna do a little explanation once we get into the presentation. Okay, great. I'm glad everyone can hear me now.
Let's just pull up the video presentation.
Okay, we're gonna pull our presentation up. Go from the beginning.
Yeah, right.
So I run a 31 town stormwater authority in the Wyoming Valley. With me is Samantha Albert, who is our lead engineer, my right hand, on all the projects that we are going to build in our pollutant reduction plan. First thing I want to discuss is why we came together to in this collaboration, and then Samantha is going to speak about the projects a little bit. So the WVSA started in 1962 as a wastewater treatment plant. There were 14 original municipalities. Currently, we have 36 municipalities involved. We have 17 board members from those municipalities, and we service over 250,000 people. There we go. So in 2016, our executive director, Mr. Jim Tomaine, and our board decided that WVSA would get into the stormwater business. And as most of you know, this is all based off the Chesapeake Bay Agreement from 1983, signed by that then Governor Dick Thornburg. So over the years, governors have agreed to more and more regulations regarding the Chesapeake Bay Agreement, and they have set a goal of 10% reduction in sediment for the towns that have MS4 permits. So that's our goal, is obviously the reductions plus meeting the MCM goals. So you can flip to the next one. So our favorite words in the Wyoming Valley, unfunded mandate. So because of these regulations and the requirement to build a lot of these BMPs and other wish list items by our towns, we had started a fee to implement all these projects and all the other things that we wanted to do. So here's a map of all of our member municipalities. So we have 32 member municipalities. 31 of them have MS4 permits. One is an associate member. So in the Wyoming Valley, from Newport Township in the south to Duryea in the north to Harvey's Lake and Jenkins Township, we have about 400 square miles of land area that's covered in the authority, with 31 member municipalities having permits, as I stated before, and about 185,000 people covered by these permits. We are a full service stormwater authority beyond just MS4. We do a number of other things, including we have a catch basin rebuilding program. We have a street sweeping program that goes beyond just the urbanized area. We have a what we call a municipal savings account, which towns receive money every year to pay for infrastructure changing, replacement, pipe replacement, stormwater replacement, separation, any of those that money could go towards. So one of the main reasons that we joined together was obviously cost savings. There are advantages to scale. Some of our towns could literally not do this program because they are so landlocked, and they would have to buy properties and houses and businesses and knock them down to do projects. So the advantage for some of these towns is the projects in other towns are counting towards their MS4 permit, where it would be a lot more inexpensive to do these projects. So we believe we're saving between 50 and 70% on the stormwater fee. And just, it's tax versus fee, especially in some of our larger towns, say a Wilkes-Barre, which is kind of the center of the stormwater authority. Much of the town is tax exempt, having King's and Wilkes colleges in the center of town. So by spreading that money in a fee versus a tax, and including the tax exempt businesses, we feel that we could do this a lot cheaper and spread the cost across more people. So our fee is $57.60 a year for 90% of our residents. So we average $4.80 a month. As I said, for 90% of our residents, that's what we call the tier 2 fee. We don't have residential versus commercial rates. We go in tiers based on your impervious area. So back in 2017, we did a flight, and we have the impervious area for all 400 miles of our service area. So I'm going to turn it over to Samantha now, and she's going to speak about the projects and our PRP plan and give you some ideas, and even go over that video that you saw. She's going to do a little play-by-play on that.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Samantha Albert. I'm with Borton Lawson Engineering, and as Jeff said, we're the stormwater engineer helping them implement their pollutant reduction plan and to meet the goals of that plan. So they have a Chesapeake Bay regionalized plan. Their goals are to reduce on an annual basis sediment, nitrogen, and phosphorus, The biggest goal is sediment. So their goal is about 2.4 million pounds per year of sediment reduction. And they need to achieve that through the implementation of BMPs, which are best management practices. And so I'm going to I'm going to talk about high level some of the projects, the structural BMPs that they're going to be implementing, which is essentially green infrastructure. But they also do storm inlet cleaning, street sweeping, which is in part helps them achieve and reduce sediment as part of that annual goal. So I'm going to focus on the green infrastructure project. So here's a list and we are implementing all of these types of projects: rain gardens, stream restoration, stormwater parks, basin retrofits, demonstration areas with permeable pavement, filter strips or infiltration areas, bioswales, and some wet ponds. I'm going to focus on 3 of these types of projects that we're going to be implementing. And I want to just back up a little bit. WVSA is in year 2 of their permit. So we're very early on. So a lot of these, majority of the projects are in design right now. We do have some rain gardens that were just constructed at the end of 2020. So we're very early in the 5 years of the permit cycle. We're in year 2. So I'm going to highlight some projects that we've done with rain gardens, a stream restoration, and a stormwater park. The first is a rain garden. So one of the things, when we first got involved, we started looking at is, what types of BMP should we implement? Where should we put them? We have 31 municipalities, 400 square miles that we could look at placing these BMPs in urbanized areas. So this first one is a rain garden, and this one was constructed. It's located at a high school. It's a vocational school right here in the Wilkes-Barre area. So this project was selected because it has high visibility, has an educational aspect, aesthetics, and looks pretty. Improved it was just our grassed area. Of course, now we're going to have flowers and trees planted there, and it gave the opportunity to partnership with the school, which has a horticulture program with the high school students, to do operation and maintenance and use the rain garden as an opportunity as part of teaching for that class. And I'm going to show, this is a video. It's just a rendering that we put together. This is the school property. It's actually located in Plains Township, very close to the city of Wilkes-Barre. And the rain garden is located right at the entrance of the school. So again, very high visibility for people coming into the property. Everybody has to drive right by it when we're going to put it. It's not shown in the rendering, but there will be a sign, an educational sign. It's going to be large, so you can see it when you drive by. That's going to be constructed and placed right in front of the rain garden. So this is a really nice project. And again, that one was just constructed at the end of last year. This is a rain garden, another rain garden. This is an actual picture of it. It was just constructed end of 2020. So we haven't even gone through a full growing season. So it's not fully, the plants are very, very immature plantings. But this is in a municipal park in the borough of Kingston. So again, it was selected because it has public access, high visibility. That area, it's a 2-series rain garden with some stone in between. The area previously was just a grassed area, and in fact, there was some pavement behind the rain garden that was removed. We created a new green space there, so it improved the look of the area, and it gave the authority the ability to partnership with the municipality with respect to maintenance on this rain garden as well. The next project I want to highlight is a stormwater park. And a stormwater park, basically, it has a bunch of, what we're doing is we're going to construct a number of stormwater water quality BMPs in a very large municipal park. It's located in Plains Township in Luzerne County. The park is about 150 acres, very large. We selected this project because it's, public space. It's very easily accessible, has high visibility. They have baseball fields, soccer fields here, a large pavilion, walking trails. We have the opportunity to to partner with one landowner, which is the municipality owns the land, Plains Township, and implement a whole bunch of diverse BMPs, some for demonstration. So we're going to be implementing a wet pond, a meadow area, rain garden, pervious pavement areas, bioretention islands, and infiltration strips along some of the parking lots. And then this type of project, It just gives opportunity for funding with grants. This project already has a grant, 100% to cover all the design and engineering fees. And once we get completed with the design, it's in design right now, we're going to go back and try to look for grant money for construction. So we have a rendering of the stormwater park that shows all the proposed work. Again, this project is just in design phase right now. It's about a 150-acre park. So right at the entrance of the park, when you come in, we're going to construct a rain garden and a meadow area. And we'll probably have a sign by the rain garden as well that indicates it's an MS4 project. And as we move into the park where we have some parking areas, we're going to implement in the middle of the parking areas bioretention islands, which are just shallow swales to pick up stormwater, and we'll have some plants in those areas for infiltration. In the back of the park, we are going to construct a wet pond. It's a very wet area right there. It's currently a wet area, high groundwater table. We have an opportunity to pick up stormwater runoff from a nearby residential area and solve a runoff problem as well with that wet pond. And that'll just drain into a wooded area in the park. And then there'll be a new parking area. And around that parking area, we'll pick up all the stormwater runoff with filter strips and a vegetated planted area on the edge of the parking lot. So that's just this project's in early stages of design, but a nice opportunity to partner with the municipality, Plains Township, on this project. The next project I want to highlight is a stream restoration project, and this is in Hanover Township. And these are actual photographs of a stream. This is, a lot of people sometimes, the question, what do you mean by stream restoration? So these are impaired streams, and this stream is very impaired. So the picture on the left, that shows the before conditions. When we went out there initially to look at the stream, that's municipal garbage. So municipal garbage was being dumped in the stream. It's actually not even that far from the roadway, but people were dumping garbage. And you could see all that garbage is piled up on that stream right here in this area. And what we discovered, WVSA went out there and we knew there was a culvert somewhere to go underneath. Up here is an active rail line. And what we discovered is, and this is the direction of stream flow, is when we removed all that garbage, and there's a significant amount of siltation or sedimentation you could see that was also removed. There's actually an very old box timber culvert that we uncovered. So all of this garbage was blocking the stream flow.
Can I just hop in here for a second?
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
this was a particular project for me. You could see the garbage, which was, disgusting enough, but just to let you know what we pulled out of here, 22 tires, shopping carts, back end of a car, back axles of a car. So, I mean, this was, to be honest with you, it was a disgrace. So, I mean, this is the kind of work that, we're looking to do to bring this stream back. And this culvert, you didn't even know it was there. I mean, the garbage was all the way up towards the rail line. So, this took a lot more effort just to clean this up than we thought. But this is the kind of projects that we're looking to do in, beyond just the restoration, just the amount of garbage and the way some people treat the environment.
Okay.
Thanks.
So that was just the first step. That's by no means restoring the stream, but we knew we had to restore a flow. It's hard to believe, but this stream is actually classified by DEP as a natural trout reproducing stream. But there's really not, we looked at our biologists look at it, there's really not a lot of biolife in this segment of the stream. So we're hoping to make a difference here. So just wanted to show what the original condition was when we first looked at this stream. So this project, I'm going to show you a video. We did an aerial drone video of after we removed the garbage, because we still need to do bank restoration. There's a lot of erosion. It's highly impaired. It has eroded banks. There was extensive and still is debris and siltation in the stream bed and along the banks. We picked this project because stream restorations have relatively high credits in terms of pounds. The credit you get, pounds of TSS reduction per year, it's 44.88 if you use the simple method, and there's other ways you can look at crediting stream projects as well. These projects, with our experience, we have a lot of opportunities for funding, grant opportunities for funding for design and construction. Right now, this project is going to go to construction in about 2 months. We're actually soliciting construction bids right now for this project. But we have, I think, 5 stream projects in design right now. 4 out of the 5 projects WVSA has grants for. 2 of them for design and all the rest for construction. So good opportunity for grant funding, it seems like, for stream projects. It's a relatively cost-effective project in terms of dollars per pound, you know, what you have to spend for design and construction versus the credit you get. Depends on the stream and how much work has to be done. And this stream project is going to provide it's 600 linear feet, just this segment. We have more of spring run we're going to do, but right now we're going to start off at 600 linear feet of environmentally restoring the stream. So I'm going to show you a video of this segment of that we were just looking at the culvert. It's at the end. This is in the downstream flow of the stream. So you can see the banks there's a lot of erosion, stagnant water, siltation at the stream bed that will be removed. This project, we're going to regrade the banks. So they're sloped back. They're not going to be vertical. There's the culvert now. After the garbage is removed, we're going to vegetate the banks. We're going to restore riparian zones. There's a bunch of Japanese knotweed we're going to remove. So a lot of good stuff so this project is going to start construction in about 2 months. Last project I want to show you was the introduction video. There was no audio, but I'll walk through it. This is another stream restoration project, and this is Abraham's Creek, and it's located in the borough of Wyoming. This project we picked, it has a lot of legacy sediment. It has eroded banks, not as significant as Spring Run, which I just showed you, but there is erosion. You know, it has a nice credit. Grant opportunities for this project as well. We're looking at for design and construction. This one's going to be, we think, very cost effective because we think the construction costs are going to be minimal on this one. And this is about 1,800 linear feet of stream. So I'll show the video again. I'm going to talk through a little bit what we're going to do here with this project. So this is a stream. It confluences with the Susquehanna River. We're going to show you that. It's located along an active levee. The Wyoming Valley Levee System. So we have the stream actually goes underneath a state road through a stormwater culvert through the levee, and right at the stormwater inlet, there's a very large area where an island is formed. It's just legacy sediment. We're going to remove that and restore that wet pond or micro pool area. And then as we go down the bank, you can see in the picture they're using herbicide and cutting down the grass. We're going to restore that area with vegetation where there currently is burnt out grass and that's because the Flood Protection Authority likes to keep the levee free of large root systems to protect the levee, the integrity of the levee. So we can't plant large trees in this riparian area. What we're going to do is small shrubs, wildflowers, tall grasses, that type of a planting. And this stream, 1,800 feet, and goes right out to the Susquehanna River. That project is pretty much almost complete with design, and we're going to, submit it for permit approval to DEP shortly. Okay, so just to wrap up.
Sure. So there's a couple things. If we can do this, you can do it. So, I would encourage people to work together. One couple other things I wanted to mention. Grant opportunities. I think working together gives you a much better chance of getting grant opportunities. You have more say, your legislators listen more. They're more aggressive, and we're aggressive on trying to get grants. We just got a National Wildlife Foundation grant for about $850,000. Obviously, we're continuing to go for more grants. As of today, in the past 3 years, we've gotten $2.5 million in grants. So, that would be my first thing that I would like to wrap up with is, be aggressive, go after grants, try to work together with other entities to get grants. The second thing on the partnerships, we have a lot of partnerships, not just with the towns, but with other entities. So for these projects, especially that last project that Samantha showed about the Abraham's Creek, the 12 tubes, we call it. We partner with the Flood Protection Authority, Luzerne County Flood Protection Authority. So what does that do? That reduces their fee. We get in a partnership with them, and we can share resources that benefit both the Flood Protection Authority and benefit the Sanitary Authority and the Stormwater Authority. So, it helps us work in concert. We have other partnerships with casinos, with individuals, with landowners. We have a number of different partnerships and, in the same case, that helps us get our projects done. It also helps them reduce their fee. So, we offer an incentive to work with us. So I would say partnership is the way to go in this realm. It's the most cost-effective way. It's the best way. And you're building partnerships that not just benefit you now, but are going to benefit you in the future when you have more regulation or you have additional sediment reduction in a future permit. You have people that you could go to for future projects. So those are two of the main things I wanted to speak about: partnerships and, working together. I think it's the most effective thing to do, and it is the cheapest thing to do. So I think that's, very important. Samantha, you want to add anything?
No. If there's any questions, we'll be happy to answer.
Great. Thanks, Jeff and Samantha. This is Kelly with Tetra Tech. We do have some questions. The first one that we have: does the WVSA maintain a mixed sewer and storm water system, so a combined system, or just separate systems?
We have a combined system, so we have 52 CSOs. Obviously, that's on the sewer side, and it's really on both sides. But yes, we have 52 CSOs throughout the Wyoming Valley.
Okay, great. And then Ellen was wondering if you could share the source of the grants that you mentioned for some of the projects for design and engineering.
Sure, maybe Samantha could speak to
Sure.
that.
Okay, so yeah, there's not a lot of grant programs that cover engineering, but one of them it's a state grant program. It's the PADEP Growing Greener program. So we have a grant for engineering for 2 of our stream projects and the stormwater park from that program for engineering. And for construction, we have a grant from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. That actually is for construction and design, which Jeff just mentioned. That's a recent award. We also have a grant for construction from the state's watershed protection program or improvement protection program. It's a state program for construction for one of the stream projects. And I'm just thinking, is there
About
anything?
Warrior Creek, what was that?
DEP Growing Greener.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the programs that we're looking at, and we're also going to be looking at, FEMA has a program called BRIC that we're going to be applying to for not a stream restoration, but a basin retrofit project, because we're going to be addressing localized flooding. So those are win-win projects. If you can, water quality BMP for stormwater, but also address localized flooding due to issues with interior stormwater drainage, stormwater runoff, things like that. So we're looking at that program right now, actually, to apply this year.
Can I just ask a clarifying? So it sounds like maybe for that watershed protection and restoration project, was that maybe through the Commonwealth Financing Authority?
Correct.
Funding? Okay,
Yes.
cool. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much. That was really great to hear about the variety of grant funding you're leveraging.
Okay, we have another question. This one is about Chapter 105 permitting, assuming that would be a joint individual permit for these projects. Has this process created time-related challenges?
Yeah. Yes.
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 So this Spring Run and Abraham's Creek, both the 2 stream projects, both of those projects will both have a the Spring Run project. We have it. It's a Chapter 105 Section 404, so it's a joint permit. We have that in place. It took about 6 months to get that permit. 6 months from the time that we submitted it. We had very little comments back, but it does have to be reviewed by Fish and Boat, DEP, obviously Chapter 105. The Army Corps of Engineers looked at it, the Conservation District. It was forwarded to EPA for their review. I don't think they commented on it, but it took 6 months. The Abraham's Creek project, the consulting firm that's designing that, we're just going to be ready to submit that, I think, this month, but we're anticipating, planned for 6 months to get approvals. That's how long it took. Does that answer the question?
I think it does. I took myself off mute, sorry, or put myself back on mute. So is each member going to get their portion of fees for improvements, and how do you pick the improvements?
What was the question?
Yeah, can you
Sorry,
repeat the question again?
Sure. Is each member
Huh?
going to get their portion of fees for improvements? And how do you pick improvements?
Oh,
Okay, so if you're talking about the municipal savings accounts, so the improvement money, it's based on what percentage of the money that the town generates. So we base it off that. If you're talking about the projects, it's not necessary. So we went around to the engineers for every town and asked them for possible projects in their towns. We evaluated every one of them, we ranked them, and we picked what we thought were the best projects for, a very important part of that obviously is the dollars per pound. So we look at how many pounds we're getting, how much we think the project's going to cost. If it's a good number, that goes to the top of the list. If it's not, it goes to the bottom of the list. It goes on my in case of emergency list. But and here's the other thing is now that people know that we're doing these projects, I get constantly bombarded with possible projects. So we go through, at least one project a month that somebody proposes that they want to add to the PRP. And just to add to that too, we have amended our PRP already once. So I don't know if anyone out there has done that, but we have added projects that we found since we did our initial study and that we feel are more cost effective. And we've had businesses come to us and propose projects that they would like to do on our behalf in exchange for a partnership. So, there's all sorts of opportunities out there.
and I just wanted to add to that in case this was part of the question, the actual projects, and even this, the street sweeping and the inlet cleaning, the stormwater fee that everyone pays is, for the revenue that pays for these projects. So the municipalities, if we have the projects in the different municipalities, they're not paying for the projects. The authority is paying for the projects. In case that was part of the question.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the next question, all of the projects that you mentioned for the MS4 are all of the projects that you mentioned for the MS4 permit, or does the authority use similar GI projects to address some of the CSOs in your combined areas?
Actually, as part of our NIFWIF grant, we are going to have an analysis done of trying to get some projects that will benefit not both the Stormwater Authority, but also cut down CSO issues within our service area. So right now, we're looking at EPA on the sewer side has been looking at, obviously reducing the amount of permittable outfalls to the river. So we're going to try to look at in the next year on doing some of those projects that we both get credit for and will benefit on the sewer side.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I don't see any other questions in the chat right now. If anybody has any others, we do have time still. Otherwise, feel free to use your emojis to show Samantha and Jeff some appreciation for their time today. That was really an excellent presentation. And I think all of our hearts are bleeding for Spring Run. We hope that stream makes a comeback. We want updates. We're probably going to all check out your website to make sure that beautiful waterway gets restored to where it should be. And maybe someday you will have trout in there. Who knows?
Yeah,
that would be nice.
That would be great. Yes.
Oh, we have another question. I knew if we sat and chatted for a second, we would have more comments come in. Let's see. It says, yesterday we saw a presentation on integrated planning. Has your authority considered this?
We really haven't actually. I saw part of that yesterday, and I'm actually going to want to look more into that. Going forward in possibly our next permit cycle, trying to integrate storm sewer together into one plan. I think that's a great idea. I'm not super duper familiar with it, but maybe Samantha knows more about it than I do.
So, yeah, I mean, and this kind of goes back to the previous question about using green infrastructure to deal with CSO. So I think one of the things that we're going to try to do with integration is to make it a priority when we look at these projects. We do have a large I'm going to say it's mostly the municipalities that are located all along the Susquehanna that have combined sewers. We still have Wilkes-Barre City, our cities, Nanticoke City, City of Pittston have combined sewers. Almost a huge portion of these cities are combined sewers still. So what we're trying to do with these projects now is looking at infiltrating is the big thing, and rate control, but infiltrating with the way we make the biggest impact there is with the larger stormwater detention basins, doing retrofits and modifying them so they could, we can infiltrate or detain water and increase the hydraulic retention time in the basin so that we minimize the CSO, the volume of the events when we discharge the river. Because unfortunately, there are still 50 CSOs. I think that's going to be the highest priority with respect to integrating the both sides.
Sewer sides.
Because on the wastewater side, they do have to look at reevaluate their CSOs right now. That's actually
Underway.
yes. So that's what we're trying to do.
That's great. Well, let us know. You'll have to come back and present once you guys have the whole integrated planning thing figured out for your authority. That'll be next year's presentations.
There you go.
I do have one follow-up quick question. We're back to spring run. The fact that, it was municipal garbage, right? And
Yep.
so outreach, I imagine, is going to play a huge role in, once you get that restoration project done, making sure that the problem doesn't continue. So can you speak a little bit about what the authority does when it comes to outreach, and then maybe a little bit specifically about what you're planning to do for that outreach and behavioral change piece of it that has affected that particular stretch?
Sure. So for outreach and education, we have two people dedicated, and this is kind of the advantage of combining all 31 towns together. We have somebody that exclusively, we have two people actually that work almost exclusively on education and outreach. So we have, actually, we're just running a campaign, and it really doesn't have to do with stormwater, but people throwing their masks on the ground, is a big problem up here. So we had a campaign with Penn State, with Ep Camera, we had a number of other people that we did a campaign with, billboard campaign, to clean up, pick up your mask, make sure you don't throw it on the ground. I mean, you go to Target, you go to Walmart, they're all over the place. But for our education outreach, we actually started, so we changed our billing around for education outreach. In the past, we had kind of like a postcard for our bills on the sewer side. We've gone to more of a formal letter bill, and because of our education outreach, we've included, now we have a quarterly newsletter that goes to approximately 74,000 homes. So, that is one of our education outreach. Obviously, we have cleanups, that kind of thing. We sponsor cleanups. We work with other entities, especially Ep Camera up here in the Northeast with Bob Hughes, trying to help him, maybe not on the personnel side. A lot of times we help financially, provide equipment, dumpsters, that kind of thing. But as for Spring Run, we have a couple different opportunities for people who own property. So we give people the opportunity to kind of maintain what we do in exchange for a permanent credit on their bill. Some people have taken advantage of it, others have not. The people who have not, it will come up to WVSA to keep this clean. I have a team, so part of our special projects group, which does catch basin rebuilding, actually is part of the team that cleaned that culvert out. So that was all done by our employees. We periodically go there and check, make sure everything's clean, flowing. It's never going to get in that condition again. I know some design ideas that Samantha came up with, like some trash rack kind of to try to collect some of the plastics and stuff that are in the stream, are in the design. So we have employees that are part of our team that's going to be part of their job, is to make sure all these things are kept in working order and that are clean, and it doesn't happen again. What we've done is we put cattle gates up, we put ballasts up, that kind of thing, the best we can. But obviously, you can't stop everybody, but we've done, I think, a very good job, especially on that spring run project. I mean, that was a disaster area. It was very poorly maintained.
Thanks for that. That's great information. So a couple more questions have come
Sure.
in. Are the long-term O&M requirements considered when you're choosing projects?
Absolutely, and they definitely are considered. Number one is, do we think that we could partner with somebody to do the O&M? So, for example, on those rain gardens that Samantha showed you, part of the O&M will be done by Kingston Borough, the one rain garden is, the other one is done by the high school. We can give a permanent credit, as I said before. We incentivize them to take over the maintenance, and we have people that go out and inspect these things. But one of the partnerships is, how do we lower their rate in exchange for them doing the O&M? So that's one of the things we offer is, listen, we'll give you X number of dollars per year to do the O&M in exchange for you doing it. And it seems to make both sides happy. We don't take the burden on of doing the O&M, but somebody else does, but they also get a financial incentive to do it. So it's kind of a win-win.
What kind of agreement do they have to enter in with you for that?
Yes.
And what period of time does that run?
So we have a partnership agreement that we have with these entities. That for the O&M is a perpetual agreement. So to do the project, we incentivize the person or the group to let us do the project on their property. And then we incentivize them to take over the O&M, and that O&M is in perpetuity. So as long as they're doing the O&M, they will get that credit every year going forward until there is no more Wyoming Valley Stormwater Authority.
Great. All right, we have one more question. What is your experience with 31 municipalities in the valley to join? I'm not sure. I don't know if that's maybe trying to, get them to participate.
Yes. So one of the advantages and one of the things is they've tried to, over the years, there have been a number of attempts to regionalize certain aspects of the public sector, fire, police, that have not been successful. Overall, talking to the towns, this is something that the towns knew that they couldn't take on. So they were kind of looking to somebody to step in and help them. Getting the towns to join was not super difficult. I think where the real difficulty came is once the fee came into place. So once the fee came into place, obviously there was some backlash. I heard an earlier presentation that there wasn't that much of a backlash in their area. There was a fierce backlash here, and it is what it is. The towns needed our help. Not much had been done on the MS4 level here on the permits. People pretty much just did the minimum they had to do to get by. But once these projects came into fruition, like I said before, some of these towns literally had nowhere to put these projects. They had no streams to do the projects. They had nowhere to put any basins. They would actually have to buy properties off of people and build these properties. And as I always tell my boss, when things are looking bad, doing the right thing isn't always the most popular thing. So it is what it is. Getting the towns to join in general wasn't that bad. Once the fee came into place, things got more difficult. I'll put it that way.
Did you have people who wanted to back out of the authority as a result of the
Yes.
fee?
Yes, we did.
And did they leave, or did you
They did not.
convince them to stay?
They did not. Every town that signed up is still either a full member or an associate member of the Stormwater Authority.
Wow, you must be very persuasive.
Absolutely, no doubt.
Well, it is 10:09, and we do still have about 6 minutes for questions. If anybody else wants to throw anything in there, or we can all sign up to do a spring run cleanup.
There you go.
And Adriana, I'm going to ask you if you want to end early if we're out of questions, or if we want to start the next session early. How do you want to do that?
I think we'll, end early and then everybody will rejoin using the link on the agenda at 10:20, just in case there's other folks that are planning to specifically attend the outreach and education and asset management section. So we won't start that early. But in your free time, feel free to get some coffee, go back and fill out the evaluation form from yesterday. And yeah, if there's no other questions, then we'll adjourn just a little bit early and we'll see everybody back at 10:20.
If everyone could
That's
just like
interesting.
jump into your emojis and show Samantha and Jeff some appreciation for their time today, that would be awesome. We really appreciate you being with us and sharing your experience. And yeah, thanks for being here today. We will see everyone shortly, as Adriana said. See you all soon. Thank you.
Thanks,
Great,
everyone.
thank you.
Appreciate
Bye.
it.